Resident Evil 4's remake came out a few weeks ago and it has already established itself as one of the best remakes out there, being considered as highly as the RE2 and Dead Space remakes, deservingly so might I add. This is a faithful, well-produced and almost concrete upgrade in comparison to the original title, updating it to be a masterpiece of its time, as the original is a masterpiece of its time. But one YouTuber really did not like Resident Evil 4's remake, Crowbcat, a YouTuber who makes videos essentially nitpicking differences between titles, content that I'd say is normally perfectly fine, although it does often fall into the trap of everything new equals bad mentality. Rather than deciding to cover the broken remake that everyone on Earth wanted him to cover, aka the Last of Us PC port, or just the remake in general, he instead created the perfect example of his new equals bad mentality, that being his recent RE4 remake video where he goes as far as claiming it's soulless. Why? Because it's not a straight up clone of the original. Now I don't know about you guys, but I think that a straight up clone of the original would be soulless. However, in Crowbcat's mind, justifying the existence of a remake via giving itself a unique, although not too different identity is a negative thing because new equals bad, guys. And honestly, a hell of a lot of the criticism he directed towards this game in his video was, to say the very least, quite baffling. Calling a video game soulless because Ashley doesn't claim you're upskirting her was not something I'd expect anyone to do.
Hey, what are you looking at? Oh, you pervert! Leon!
One more thing, Eugene, give me that. If I ever find one of these lying around again, I swear to fucking God, I will stop being so polite. Get the fuck out of my sight.
I know I already have the Crowbcat fanboys in the comment section screeching that he isn't sharing his personal opinion in this video or criticizing it, but instead merely showcasing differences between the two. Well, usually I'd agree with you when it comes to his video specifically. However, he disagrees, and blatantly so, outright exclaiming in the original video's description that it was a critical one-sided comparison, mostly about art direction and cinematic direction. Observe and draw your own conclusions. I just love it when people make bold statements and then at the end tag on something along the lines of, "Don't take this video as a statement of fact," even though the title of my video is a statement of fact. It's just my opinion, guys. It's always a great sign that the content you're about to watch is going to be of high quality. Regardless, the idea that this remake is void of any soul is astronomically brain dead. How anyone can look at Resident Evil 4 2023 and claim it's soulless is truly beyond me, when the exaggerated swagger of Leon Kennedy is still heavily prevalent, and so are the more cheesy aspects from the original. By no means is this title soulless. Quite the opposite. It was clearly made with care, and was clearly made by people who loved the original title. And in all honesty, I find this entire controversy quite comical, mainly because he somehow couldn't stand his ground and ended up doing a total 180 on his opinion, not once, but twice, changing the title from Soul vs. Soulless Resident Evil 4 comparison to the Resident Evil 4 remake is a masterpiece, and then back again.
Coward.
Along with completely altering the description to now state, in this video we're looking at how the Resident Evil 4 remake improved over the original while keeping all the soul.
You're not an intellectual. You're a fake and a fraud.
I mean, that sure is one way to take criticism. Simply don't respond to it, pretend as if it never happened, and do an instant 180 on your opinion when the masses call you out for your bullshit. And then to do the exact same thing yet again, but in reverse, after people call you out for changing the title. What bullshit am I referring to exactly? I'm talking about his alleged editing of the remake's audio in order to make the new version look worse than the original. Initially pointed out quite well by G-Man Lives on Twitter, sparking the entire controversy. Now, even if he never edited the audio, this is one of the most egregiously disingenuous and moronic video comparisons I've seen, due to the simple fact that this is nothing more than a different style of audio compared to the original. It isn't soulless just because they decided to justify its existence with slightly different stylization. I mean, come on. Compared to the original title, the characters in this game are an immense upgrade. Crowbcat, in fairness, was not lying when he stated that this video was a one-sided one-sided comparison because it completely and utterly fails to show any good aspects of it, but rather attempts to call it Soulless for nothing more than different stylization. Hell, just look at how useless Ashley is in the original title compared to the remake, and how much of an improvement Lewis's character sees in this title. Most of the differences between the original and the remake come down to nothing more than at most a slightly different atmospheric styling. The remake takes more inspiration from the horror stylization of the newer titles, whilst keeping it true to the original at the same time, resulting in a moderately darker title. It isn't soulless, it's just modernizing the game to be in line with the rest of the remakes and modern titles, whilst keeping the cheesy and almost cartoonish aspects of the original. Hence why you have Leon doing everything so extra. Does he simply duck underneath a chainsaw? Of course he doesn't. He backflips away from them. Does he just shoot the zombies in the head all the time? No. He fucking body slams grannies into the ground, snapping their spines in the process.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
If Crowbcat's point of view can be summed up into its simplest form, then it would be reeking nostalgia bias. I can understand why some people may prefer the original version's atmosphere over the remake. However, Crowbcat didn't accurately explain or even properly showcase why he prefers the OG title. He merely ironically attempted to shame the makers of the remake for being soulless instead, taking the most toxic approach to the situation possible via an incredibly biased video. And his multiple attempts to respond to the criticism surrounding his toning down of the remake's ambient sound against the original have failed miserably. In fact, the original top comment on his video was someone calling him out for it, of which he is now deleted. It is now being replaced by a link to someone else's video where they extremely poorly attempt to claim that Crowbcat did not actually edit the audio whatsoever. And I'm not gonna lie, I low-key don't believe for a single second that the person he linked to is not himself. Not that the argumentation in said linked video is good. It sure as hell isn't.
And that's the thing I want to establish right off the way. What you hear because of your setup and what you have on capture are two very different things. Let's get that established out the way so we can give, you know, if you want to be unbiased, you truly have to look at it from so many different ways. And this is why I'm here. I'm truly unbiased. I'm giving you guys, the audience, an actual full, clear idea of what the hell is actually happening. I don't know what capture card he's using, how old it is, what his PC thing is, and what audio setup he's using, because even G-Man mints. And I should also mention, the audio could be different because I've played on PC and on console, and I tend to find that on PC, the audio tends to get more fucked than on console. I don't know why. That's specifically my setup. Crowbar could have the same thing.
You idiot. You're honestly an idiot. I don't know what's wrong with you. But your ego is pissing me off.
Are you seriously trying to tell me that he essentially just accidentally overlooked something like this? I highly doubt that, and as any content creator will tell you, you can absolutely tell the difference between audio which was edited to be lower and naturally quieter audio. Crowbcat's audio in his original video was clearly edited. Why exactly do you think he is seemingly the only person in existence to have encountered this supposed issue? You kind of prove the opposite of what you're trying to, further shown by the dislike count and the number of people pointing this out. I mean, you flat out admit to having your audio 20 decibels lower than it normally should be, and then go on to do the comparison regardless of that fact.
I mean, you guys are hitting it right now, so I should mention that on my Streamlabs, this is what the current audio will sound like. We're gonna leave it like this for a minute, right? This is my audio levels. I always have -20 so you can hear me over the game, right? We're gonna let it full blast, but it might also not be accurate, and I'll give you what I hear. Now let's boost the audio.
Boosting the audio to a higher amount after decreasing it by 20 decibels does not give a legitimate comparison. Anyone with a drop of technical knowledge would understand such a thing. Not to mention that a huge part of the problem is that not only is the remake turned down, just play the demo for yourself and you'll see this is the case, he's also seemingly turned up the original. It's just a terrible, as he said, one-sided comparison video with a clear intent bias. This video does a terrible job stop defending Crowbcat because it creates a new dilemma for that video. Is either Crowbcat is a complete fucking imbecile who somehow managed to forget to fix his audio whilst capturing, or he intentionally edited the audio to fanboy for the original version. Neither is a good thing. Both are insanely disingenuous, and unsurprisingly no one is buying his bullshit here. And more unsurprisingly, I'm not the only tinfoil hat motherfucker who thinks he's linked to his second channel here. The tone of which this person is speaking, the irritation in their voice, and the general shoddy argumentation here is making my brain go into full Alex Jones conspiracy theory mode, and ultimately think that he's just linked to his own response video here. But hey, at least Ratanga Play's got his cameo in before he copies my video. You topic stealing little bitch. If we ignore how weird this response video when it comes to the fact that it's almost definitely an alt account or a friend, considering how long it would take to scour the internet in order to find this, the messing up of point views in it, oh, and the oddly similar channel creation dates of both accounts, it's a pretty suspicious video all things considered. As Crowbcat said, I'll let you make your own minds up when it comes to this Alex Jones tier meme conspiracy theory. Plus, if it isn't him, I do find it fairly scummy that he's decided to find one small channel dick riding him, and to then direct all the criticism and or hate he's been receiving towards them. Not particularly a great way to respond when you could have simply responded yourself. Even still, his focus on responding to the audio allegations is quite laughable, considering the fact that it is not the biggest problem with his video. Not only does he fail to showcase the drastic improvements to characters, he also repeatedly shows off one location in the original game, then another entirely random location from the remake where there's not really a comparison being made in order to claim that the original game is better. No matter what, it's clear as day that Crowbcat, despite his appeal for people to come to their own conclusion, has not in fact respected people's ability to come to their own conclusion. Hence his non-stop tantrum changing of his title, deleting of people's comments and linking to external videos in order to defend an obvious fuck up when it comes to audio balancing, in his self-proclaimed one-sided comparison video. I mean, Jesus Christ, how hard is it for you to just stick to your original opinion in the first place and or keep the supposed troll title? All in all, this is by far one of the most comical situations I've seen in a long ass time, but there's not much more to discuss, and so we have finally come to the end of this video. And with that being said, please do not forget to do all the things YouTubers love to beg you to do, aka check out the Discord server, the Twitter, like, comment and subscribe. So I will see you all in the next video.